The false victory. Admiral Davik Kalos stood on the command bridge of the Indomitable Will, flagship of the Galactic Hegemony's fifth conquest fleet. His scaled skin gleamed under the ambient lighting as he watched Earth's orbital defenses crumble beneath his fleet's relentless barrage. The primitive satellites and hastily constructed defense platforms had offered minimal resistance to his armada of 300 warships. "Another successful integration, Admiral," commented fleet strategist Zelara, her four eyes blinking in sequence as she reviewed the tactical display. Her slender frame, typical of the Vasari species, seemed almost fragile next to Kalos's imposing physique. "Indeed," Kalos nodded, his bone crest extending with pride. "The humans fought with more spirit than expected, but the outcome was never in doubt." Around them, the bridge crew, a collection of the hegemony's 7 dominant species, monitored their stations with practiced efficiency. The conquest of Earth, a resource-rich world on the galaxy's outer rim, had proceeded exactly according to the hegemony's centuries-old playbook: identify, infiltrate, assess, and subjugate. "Begin the victory announcement," Kalos commanded, straightening his ceremonial armor adorned with symbols of previous conquests. "And prepare integration protocols." On the massive view screen, Earth's final defense station disintegrated, escape pods scattering in all directions like seeds from a dying plant. The blue-green planet hung suspended against the black void, seemingly defenseless now that its orbital guardians had been eliminated. "Incoming transmission from planetary leadership," announced Communications Officer Render, his tentacles deftly manipulating the control interfaces. "Display," Kalos ordered, preparing his expression for the inevitable surrender negotiations. The view screen shifted to show a human female in what appeared to be a formal military uniform. Unlike the panicked communications they had intercepted during the invasion, her expression was composed, almost serene. "This is General Alina Winters of the United Earth Defense Force," she stated, her voice clear and unwavering. "On behalf of Earth's Unified Council, I formally surrender our orbital assets and request terms." Kalos smiled, displaying rows of sharp teeth. This was proceeding even more smoothly than anticipated. Most species fought until their major population centers were threatened. "General Winters, I am Admiral Davik Kalos of the Galactic Hegemony. Your surrender is accepted. The terms are standard for Level 3 integration. Your military will be disbanded, your resources will be cataloged and appropriately allocated, and your population will be registered for assignment within the hegemony's economic structure." Winters nodded once. "We request 12 hours to inform our population and prepare for your arrival." "You have 6, Kalos replied firmly. Magnanimity had its limits, and hesitation could lead to organized resistance. "Understood, transmission ends." The screen returned to the view of Earth. "Begin deploying governance ships," Kalos ordered. "I want assessment teams ready to land in 6 hours precisely." As the bridge crew executed his commands, Kalos allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. Earth would make an excellent addition to the hegemony. Initial scans had revealed abundant mineral resources, diverse biospheres ideal for agricultural expansion, and a hardy population well-suited for labor assignments in the hegemony's more demanding environments. "Admiral," Zelara approached, holding a data tablet. "Our preliminary analysis of human combat tactics suggests they would be valuable additions to our frontier security forces. They display unusual adaptability and resource management under pressure." "Noted," Kalos replied. "Mark their military leadership for targeted rehabilitation programs. We can use their expertise without allowing them to maintain their command structures." 3 hours into the integration preparations, Junior Sensor Officer Trell noticed something unusual. The young Myeran's fur rippled with concern as he reviewed the readings. "Admiral," Trell called, his voice carrying a note of confusion, "I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from the dark side of Earth's moon." Zelara glanced dismissively at the readings. "Likely residual emissions from their destroyed lunar bases. Our bombardment was quite thorough." "With respect, strategist," Trell persisted, his claws tapping rapidly across his console. These readings match no known human technology in our database. They appear artificial but significantly advanced beyond what we've encountered from Earth forces. Before Zelara could respond, the ship's alert system activated, not the routine notifications of normal operations, but the piercing tones of an imminent threat warning. The celebratory atmosphere on the bridge evaporated as officers rushed to their stations. "Report," Kalos demanded, striding quickly to the central command platform. "Multiple objects emerging from lunar orbit, Admiral," the tactical officer announced, her features contorting with confusion. "Large objects, very large." The viewscreen shifted to show the dark side of Earth's moon. At first, Kalos saw nothing unusual. Then as the magnification increased, he noticed movement, massive shapes detaching from the lunar surface, as if pieces of the satellite itself were breaking free. "Impossible," breathed Zelara. "Those readings can't be correct." But they were. As the objects moved clear of the moon's shadow, their true nature became unmistakable: warships. Not the primitive vessels the hegemony had easily dispatched during their invasion, but massive, angular behemoths that bristled with weapon emplacements. "Size comparison," Kalos ordered, his voice steady despite the growing knot of dread in his chest. The tactical display updated to show a comparison between the leading human vessel and the indomitable Will. The human ship was twice as large. "This contradicts all intelligence," Zelara whispered. "Humans have barely achieved reliable interplanetary travel. They couldn't possibly have constructed vessels of this size without our knowledge." As they watched, more ships emerged, not just from behind the moon, but from hiding places throughout the solar system. Some appeared from behind Mars, others rose from the asteroid belt, and still more decloaked from positions near Jupiter's moons. "We've been deceived," Kalos realized, military training asserting itself through the shock. All of this, their primitive defenses, their conventional resistance, their hasty surrender, it was a ruse. "Incoming transmission from the lead human vessel," announced Render, his tentacles trembling slightly. The viewscreen changed to show General Winters again, but now she stood on what was clearly the bridge of an advanced warship. Unlike her previous communication, she now wore full combat armor, and her expression held not submission but quiet confidence. "Admiral Kalos," she began without preamble, "your assessment of our capabilities was deliberately incomplete. The defenses you destroyed were decoys. Our real fleet has been waiting for precisely this moment." Kalos drew himself up to his full height, attempting to project authority despite the situation's rapid deterioration. "This deception violates the hegemony's protocols of engagement." A slight smile crossed Winter's face. "Protocols, like the ones that say you should attempt diplomatic contact before invading a sovereign world. Those protocols." Before Kalos could respond, the tactical officer called out in alarm. "Admiral, the human vessels are moving to surround our fleet. Their weapon systems are active, and they're targeting specific systems on each of our ships with unprecedented precision." The realization struck Kalos like a physical blow. The humans hadn't just hidden their true capabilities, they had studied the hegemony thoroughly. They knew exactly where to hit to disable rather than destroy. On the viewscreen, Winters remained composed. "You have two options, Admiral. Withdraw your forces immediately or surrender and prepare to negotiate new terms. Our terms." Throughout the hegemony fleet, reports flooded in of human vessels appearing from hiding spots throughout the solar system. Not just the massive dreadnoughts, but smaller, faster craft that moved with impossible agility. The humans had constructed an entire fleet in secret, all while presenting a facade of primitive space capability to the galaxy. "How," Kalos couldn't stop himself from asking, "how did you conceal all of this?" "You underestimated us," Winters replied simply. "Your intelligence said we were fractious, divided, primitive. You saw what we wanted you to see. When we detected your scout ships years ago, we united. We prepared. We waited." The tactical display updated again, showing the full scope of the human fleet now deployed around the hegemony forces. The numbers were staggering. The hegemony had arrived with 300 vessels, confident it was an overwhelming force. The humans had deployed over 700, many larger and apparently more advanced than anything in the hegemony arsenal. "Admiral," the tactical officer reported, voice cracking, "they've achieved targeting locks on every critical system across our fleet, engine cores, command centers, weapon controls, all simultaneously." "Impossible," breathed Zalera. "No targeting system can achieve that level of precision across multiple vessels." As if in answer to her disbelief, pinpoint red targeting beams appeared on the bridge, dancing across critical control stations. Similar reports came in from every ship in the fleet. The humans weren't just targeting their vessels. They were demonstrating that they could selectively disable any system they chose. "Your celebration was premature, Admiral," General Winters said, her voice level. "Now shall we discuss the terms of your surrender?" The command bridge of the Indomitable will fell silent. The status indicators still glowed throughout the bridge, but the pride and confidence that had filled the space just hours before had evaporated like morning dew under a harsh sun. Kalos looked around at his crew, seeing the same realization dawn on each alien face. They had not been the hunters, they had been the prey. In a distant observation post at the edge of the solar system, hegemony cultural anthropologist Jella Voss watched the situation unfold with academic interest rather than military concern. Specialized in studying pre-FTL civilizations, Voss had argued against the invasion from the beginning, insisting that humans displayed unusual patterns of development. "They're too adaptable," Voss had warned the Hegemony Council. "They progress too quickly and in unpredictable ways." The Council had dismissed these concerns. After all, the hegemony had successfully integrated over 500 species. Humans were just another primitive civilization to be guided into the galactic community. Now, as Voss watched the humans reveal their true capabilities, a mixture of vindication and fascination washed over them. This was unprecedented in galactic history, a pre-FTL species not only anticipating invasion, but preparing for it so thoroughly that they had reversed the power dynamic entirely. As General Winters delivered her ultimatum to the hegemony fleet, Voss activated their personal recording device. This moment would transform galactic politics forever. The era of easy hegemony expansion had just ended. A new era, one where humanity would play a central role, had begun. The false victory had become a true defeat, and the galaxy would never be the same. The rise of Terra. Admiral Davik Kalos stood rigid on the command bridge of the Indomitable Will, his scaled skin now dull under the glare of emergency lighting. The tactical displays surrounding him told a story no hegemony commander had ever faced. Complete encirclement, weapons locked, and no viable path of retreat. "Your response, Admiral?" General Winters prompted from the viewscreen, her calm demeanor somehow more intimidating than any show of aggression would have been. Kalos's mind raced through his limited options. The hegemony fleet was massive, but it had been deployed for conquest, not desperate combat. Their ships were arranged in ceremonial formation rather than defensive posture, and the human vessels had materialized at perfect intercept positions. "I will not surrender the entirety of the hegemony's 5th conquest fleet without authorization from High Command," Kalos replied, voice steady despite the circumstances. "But I propose an immediate cessation of hostilities while we establish communication channels." Winters nodded once. "Acceptable, you have 6 hours, the same time frame you granted us. Fitting, don't you think?" Without waiting for a response, she added, "During this period, any movement of your vessels beyond maintenance positioning will be considered hostile action." After the transmission ended, Zalera approached Kalos, her 4 eyes blinking asymmetrically in distress. "Admiral, our deep scans are complete. The human vessels, they aren't just larger than ours. Their technology signatures suggest capabilities we've only theorized about. Some of their systems operate on principles our scientists haven't yet mastered." "Impossible," Kalos muttered, but without conviction. "They were supposed to be centuries behind us." "The data doesn't lie," Zalera continued, her voice dropping to ensure privacy. Their targeting systems alone represent at least 3 generations of advancement beyond our best designs, and their hulls, our weapons might not even penetrate their defenses. Throughout the command bridge, the once confident officers of the hegemony's elite conquest force worked in tense silence, their movements betraying the unthinkable truth. They were outmatched. Aboard the Earth Dreadnought Defiance, General Elena Winters moved from the communication array to the central strategic table where her senior officers had gathered. The holographic display showed the positions of both fleets in perfect detail, a testament to Earth's sensor capabilities. "They'll report to their high command," stated Admiral Marcus Diaz, his weathered face set in grim satisfaction. "The question is what happens next." "They'll attempt to save face," replied Colonel Takashi Nakamura, the fleet's intelligence director. His fingers manipulated the display, highlighting communication patterns between the hegemony vessels. "Their society is hierarchical and conquest-oriented. Retreat would represent catastrophic loss of status." Winters nodded in agreement, "Which is why we won't be giving them that option." She expanded the tactical display to show the entire solar system. Throughout the vast space, hundreds of previously hidden human vessels were now visible, organized into precise defensive formations. "Phase 2 is ready, General," announced Vice Admiral Olivia Jensen, head of the Dreadnought Division. "The Ares Gate is operational." Winters allowed herself a small smile. "Excellent. Let's make sure our guests don't miss the show." 6 hours passed with agonizing slowness aboard the indomitable Will. Kalos had spent most of that time in urgent communication with the hegemony high command, facing first disbelief, then anger, and finally reluctant acceptance of the situation. His superiors had authorized him to negotiate temporary terms while a proper response was formulated. "Visual from the humans," Render announced as the communication system chimed. General Winters appeared on screen once more. "Your time has elapsed, Admiral Kalos. What is your decision?" "The hegemony proposes immediate withdrawal of our forces from your system, with formal diplomatic recognition to follow," Kalos stated, carefully repeating the exact wording his superiors had provided. "Withdrawal is acceptable," Winters nodded. "However, there will be conditions. First, your fleet will depart along a designated corridor under our escort. Second, you will provide full technical specifications of your propulsion and communication systems as a show of good faith. Third, a delegation of your officers will remain as guests of Earth to establish proper diplomatic relations." Kalos narrowed his eyes. The terms were humiliating but not unexpected. These conditions exceed standard diplomatic protocols. "There is nothing standard about this situation, Admiral," Winters replied. "But before you respond, there's something you should see." She gestured to someone off-screen. "Activate the Ares Gate." The view screen split to show a new image, deep space at the edge of the solar system. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then space itself appeared to fold, creating a swirling vortex of energy that expanded to form a massive ring of pulsing blue light. "What is this?" Kalos demanded, unable to hide his shock. "This," Winters explained with evident pride, "is humanity's greatest achievement. We call it the Ares Gate, our first operational faster-than-light transportation system." As Kalos and his crew watched in stunned silence, vessels began to emerge from the gate, hundreds of them, each bearing Earth's insignia. Unlike the ships already present in the solar system, these were clearly designed for long-range deployment, with sleeker lines and more compact weapon systems. "Impossible," whispered Zelara beside him. "Our intelligence indicated humans were at least a century away from achieving controlled dimensional tunneling." "Your intelligence," Winters stated, "was exactly what we wanted it to be." The tactical display updated automatically, cataloging the new arrivals. Within minutes, the count of human warships had doubled, then tripled. The hegemony fleet, once an overwhelming invasion force, now appeared hopelessly outnumbered. "This is Earth's expeditionary force," Winters continued. "While we've been having this conversation, they've been returning from their first mission beyond our solar system. You see, Admiral, we detected your scout ships years ago. We knew the hegemony was coming, so we prepared. For the first time in his long military career, Kalos felt true fear. The humans hadn't just developed unexpected defenses. They had leapfrogged entire stages of technological evolution to create capabilities the hegemony had only theorized about. The conditions I stated are non-negotiable, Winters concluded. You have 1 hour to begin your withdrawal according to our terms. In the secure command bunker beneath the Himalayan mountains, President Wei Lin of the United Earth Government watched the confrontation unfold alongside his cabinet and military advisors. The massive display dominated the center of the chamber, showing the hegemony fleet now completely surrounded by Earth forces. They're sending encrypted communications to their homeworld, reported Defense Minister Nwankwo, attempting to call for reinforcements, most likely. It won't help them, replied Science Director Hernandez, her expression satisfied after decades of secret work. Even at maximum FTL speeds, the nearest hegemony reinforcements would take weeks to arrive. And by then, added Admiral Jensen via secure link from the Defiance, our Jupiter shipyards will have completed 3 more Dreadnought-class vessels. President Wei nodded thoughtfully. The plan had worked perfectly, perhaps too perfectly. What had begun as a desperate defense strategy had evolved into something much more significant. Humanity now stood at a crossroads. General Winters has them cornered, Vice President Ivanova observed. The question is, what do we do with them? All eyes turned to President Wei. The decision he would make in the next few moments would determine humanity's place in the galaxy for generations to come. We show restraint, Wei declared after a moment of contemplation. Not weakness, but wisdom. We demonstrate that humanity is not like the hegemony. Admiral Kalos received the final communication from his superiors with resignation. The hegemony high command had accepted Earth's terms, recognizing that the alternative would be the loss of their entire 5th conquest fleet. We accept your conditions, Kalos informed General Winters, his pride shattered but his duty fulfilled. The withdrawal will commence immediately. Excellent, Winters replied. Our vessels will escort yours to the edge of the system. The diplomatic delegation will transfer to the Defiance within the hour. As the communication ended, Kalos turned to Zelara, who had served as his chief strategist for over a decade. Prepare yourself for the diplomatic mission, he ordered quietly. Learn everything you can about them. The hegemony must understand what we're facing. Zelara nodded, her 4 eyes blinking in sequence, a sign of deep thought among her species. Admiral, I've been analyzing their tactical movements since they revealed themselves, their positioning, their coordination. It's unlike anything I've seen before. Explain, Kalos prompted, sensing something important in her observation. Most species organize their military hierarchically, with clear chains of command flowing down from central authorities, Zelara continued. But the humans, their formations suggest a networked approach. Distributed command, adaptive positioning, fluid response patterns. It's as if each vessel operates both independently and as part of a coordinated whole simultaneously. Kalos considered this. What does that tell us about them? It tells us, Zelara replied gravely, that everything we thought we knew about humans was wrong. They're not just technologically advanced beyond our estimates. They think differently. They organize differently, and that may be more significant than any weapon they possess. As the hegemony fleet began its humiliating retreat, escorted by human vessels that maintained precise targeting locks at all times, activity throughout Earth's solar system shifted from military to diplomatic preparation. On the bridge of the Defiance, General Winters received the final confirmation that the diplomatic delegation from the hegemony had arrived. Show them to the conference chamber, she instructed, and inform President Wei that we're ready to begin. Admiral Diaz approached her as the bridge crew executed her orders. Quite a change of circumstances in just a few days, he commented, from facing invasion to dictating terms. Winters nodded, allowing herself to relax slightly for the first time in days. Phase 1 complete, But this is just the beginning, Marcus. The beginning of what? Diaz asked, though his expression suggested he already knew the answer. Winters gazed at the tactical display, where thousands of human vessels now patrolled the solar system, and beyond them, the glowing Ares gate that represented humanity's future. The beginning of everything. The galaxy thought it was introducing us to the interstellar community. Instead, we're going to introduce ourselves on our terms. In the observation lounge adjacent to the conference chamber, strategist Zellara watched Earth through the massive viewport, a beautiful blue-green world that had just demonstrated itself to be far more than it appeared. In her many cycles of service to the hegemony, she had helped integrate dozens of species, studying their weaknesses and exploiting them for the greater glory of the hegemony. But as she prepared to meet the human leadership, she couldn't help but wonder if the galaxy was about to witness something unprecedented. Not the rise of another conquered species, but the birth of a new power that would rewrite the rules of interstellar politics. The rise of Terra had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.